A friend once said to me, I need more yang energy right now. I paused, not because she was wrong, because that sentence, 6 words, completely normal, something people say every day, that sentence is built on a mistake so common that most of us do not even see it. What she meant was, I feel tired, I feel slow, I need something that will push me forward, something active, something yang. And here is why I paused, because hidden inside those 6 words is an idea that runs through almost everything we think we know about Chinese medicine. The idea that yang is the good one, yang is the engine, yang is what you want, and yin is the couch, yin is the lazy Sunday, yin is what you apologize for. That idea, it might be the biggest mistranslation in the entire history of East and West. And today I want to show you why, not just what the words mean, what they actually do in your body right now. Hey friends, this is East and Inner. I'm Ollie, just me talking to you. Before we go any further, I want to tell you why I care about this so much. I am not a scholar who studied this in a university library. I am someone who lived the mistake. For years, I thought health was about pushing harder, more energy, more output, more yang, and I paid for it. You'll hear that story later, but for now, just know that everything I am about to tell you, the seesaw, the candle, the 3 rules, these are not abstract ideas I read in a book. These are things my own body taught me the hard way. And there is another reason I want to talk about this. We live in a culture that is obsessed with optimization. Better, faster, more. Hustle culture. Biohacking. Morning routines that look like military operations. We have taken the yang side of the equation and turned it into a religion. And we have almost completely forgotten that the other half of the equation even exists. That is not a personal failing. It is the water we are swimming in. And the first step is just noticing the water. Let me start with a picture. Imagine a seesaw in a children's playground. One side goes up, the other side goes down. The movement flows back and forth. Up becomes down, down rises up again. This is not a seesaw that is broken. This is a seesaw that is working. Now imagine someone walks up and says, you know what? The upside is better. Being up is winning. Let me fix this. They take out a hammer, they drive a nail straight through the middle, the seesaw stops. Congratulations. You now have a broken seesaw. And in the language of classical Chinese medicine, a broken body. This idea has a name. It comes from the Huangdi Neijing, the Yellow Emperor's inner canon. It was written roughly 2,000 years ago, and it is still one of the most important books in Chinese medicine. And I want to pause on that for a moment, because 2,000 years is a long time. This book has survived empires. It has survived wars. It has survived the invention of modern medicine, of antibiotics, of MRI machines, and it is still read. That does not happen by accident. It happens because the ideas inside it are not about a specific disease or a specific treatment. They are about how a living body actually works, and those rules do not change. The concept is dynamic balance, not balance like a scale that stays still, not balance like finding the exact middle and holding it, balance that comes from movement, balance that only works when both sides are free to move. That is the difference between understanding Chinese medicine and just learning its words. And most of what you hear in the West about boosting this, reducing that, more yang, less yin, misses it entirely. So let me show you how yin and yang actually work. I am going to give you 3 rules, but I want you to really sit with the first one because it is the one that changes everything. The other 2 will make sense once you have it. Rule 1, you cannot have one without the other. The classical concept is mutual rooting. Yin is the root, yang is the function. They are not two separate things that happen to be connected. One literally cannot exist without the other. Think of a candle. The wax, that is yin, substance, stillness, potential. The flame, that is yang, heat, light, activity, the thing you can see from across the room. Now ask yourself, can you have a flame without wax? No, the flame is what the wax does when you light it. The wax is what the flame is when it is at rest. But here is the part people miss. Can you have wax without flame? Yes, you can. It sits in a drawer. It is still wax. It has all the potential in the world, but it is not doing anything. That is the relationship. Yin without yang is potential without expression. Yang without yin is activity with nothing underneath it. A flame floating in the air with nothing to burn. Let me bring this into your body because this is where it gets real. And I want to give you not just one example, but several, because once you start seeing this pattern, you see it everywhere. Blood is yin. Blood is substance. It carries nourishment. It holds moisture. It is heavy and still and deep. Qi, your body's vital energy. Qi is yang, the warmth that moves through you, the energy that wakes you up in the morning and pushes blood through your vessels. Blood feeds qi. Qi moves blood. They need each other, not in a poetic way, in a completely literal, physical way, but it does not stop there. Think about sleep and waking. Sleep is yin, deep, still, restorative. Waking is yang, active, alert, engaged. Can you stay awake forever? No. Eventually, the yin of sleep pulls you down. And here is the thing, the quality of your sleep, your yin directly determines the quality of your waking, your yang. Bad sleep equals bad energy. You cannot fix the yang without fixing the yin that feeds it. Or think about your digestive system, the stomach and spleen, yin organs in the classical framework. They hold, they store, they nourish. The intestines, more yang. They move, they push, they expel. If your yin digestion is weak, if your body cannot properly receive and hold nourishment, then all the yang movement in the world will not help you. You will be pushing on empty. And here is one more. In classical thinking, the heart houses the mind. That is a yang function. The kidneys store the essence. That is pure yin. When the heart and kidneys are not communicating, when the yang of the mind is racing, but the yin of the deep body is depleted, you get exactly the pattern I described earlier. Lying in bed at 2 in the morning, body exhausted, mind spinning. That is not a psychological problem. That is a yin-yang disconnection. The flame is burning, but it has no wax to hold on to. When a classical Chinese medicine doctor sees someone who is tired all the time, they do not just say, "You need more yang." They ask a deeper question. Is the yang weak or is the yin too empty to support it? That question. The one that I need more yang energy skips entirely. That question is where real medicine begins. Because if your yin is depleted, if your blood is thin, if your fluids are dry, if you are running on empty, then adding more yang is like turning up the flame on a candle that has almost no wax left. It will burn brighter for a moment, and then it will go out. This is not theory. This is one of the most common patterns I have seen. People who are exhausted, wired, cannot sleep, mind racing, and they think they need more stimulation, more coffee, more yang. What they actually need is to rebuild the wax. Rule 2. More of one means less of the other, waxing and waning balance. When yin increases, yang naturally decreases. When yang rises, yin pulls back. This is not sickness. This is not imbalance. This is physics. Day gives way to night. Summer yields to winter. Your heart squeezes. Then it must relax. Your lungs inhale. Then they must exhale. Every single process in your body is a yin-yang oscillation, push and release, push and release. Where we get into trouble is when we decide we like one direction better. We try to stay in yang mode forever, always on, always producing, always lit. I learned this one the hard way. A few years ago, I was working 12-hour days in international trade. Coffee at 4 in the afternoon, emails at midnight. I remember looking at my phone in bed, answering a message from a supplier in another time zone, and thinking, I am crushing this. I am in the zone. Yang mode, maximum output. Then my sleep fell apart. Not just I had a bad night. I would lie in bed at 2 in the morning, body completely drained. But my mind was racing like a car with the accelerator stuck. My stomach stopped working. I would eat and feel like the food just sat there, not moving. I was tired in a way that sleep did not fix. What I did not realize at the time was that my body was trying to tell me something very simple. Every day, I pushed yang higher and higher. 12 hours of work, coffee to keep going, more emails, more output. And every day, my yin pulled back further and further. Less sleep, less rest, less stillness, until there was almost nothing left. My candle was running on melted wax and fumes. It took me months to understand what was happening, and here is the part that still gets me. I did not need a doctor to tell me I was burning out. I did not need a blood test. I did not need a diagnosis. My body had been screaming at me for weeks. I just was not listening. I did not know how to listen. I did not even know there was something to listen for. And the recovery was not what I expected. I thought I needed a vacation, a weekend off, maybe a spa, but when I tried to rest, I could not. My body had forgotten how. The engine was stuck in high gear and the brake did not work anymore. That is the cruel thing about yang excess. It does not just make you tired. It makes you incapable of resting. You become the seesaw with a nail through it, frozen at the top. What actually helped was absurdly simple. I stopped drinking coffee after 2 in the afternoon. I ate warm food at regular times. I went to bed at the same hour every night, even if I just lay there. I did not try to meditate. I did not try to fix anything. I just stopped pushing, and slowly over weeks the seesaw started moving again. Not because I added anything, because I stopped holding it still. I did not lack anything. I was not deficient. I had just forgotten how to exhale. I had been breathing in, and never letting go. You cannot stay in summer forever. Winter comes whether you invite it or not. And if you have been fighting it the whole time, it does not arrive gently. It arrives like a door slamming shut. Rule 3. They turn into each other. Mutual transformation. At its extreme, yin becomes yang. Yang becomes yin. Midnight. The deepest yin of the day, the darkest hour. That is also exactly when yang begins to rise. A tiny spark deep inside the dark. Noon, the highest yang, the brightest moment. That is exactly when yin starts its return. The first shadow, the first cool breath. The seed of one lives inside the other. That is literally what the symbol shows you. The small dot of the opposite inside each half. And the line between them, it is not a straight line. It is a curve, a wave. Because the movement is never a hard break. Yang does not stop and yin does not begin. They flow into each other, like water finding its own level. In real life, this happens all the time. An intense workout, pure yang, eventually forces you into deep yin sleep. A high fever, extreme yang, can suddenly flip into chills and collapse, extreme yin. A good laugh that turns into tears. A grief so deep it eventually births a new kind of strength. Even your emotions follow this law. Anger is yang. It rises, it flares, it wants to move outward. But anger that cannot be expressed turns inward, becomes depression, becomes yin. And depression, the heaviest yin, can sometimes flip into rage, pure yang, seemingly out of nowhere. The body does not care what you call it. It just moves. And here is a smaller, more ordinary example. Think about cooking. You put a pot of cold water on the stove. Cold is yin, still is yin. You turn on the heat. pure yang. The water warms, it begins to move, tiny bubbles, then steam, then a full rolling boil. Yin has become yang right there in your kitchen. And if you turn off the flame and walk away, yang slowly becomes yin again. The water cools, the movement stops. This is not magic. It is not metaphor. It is the same law playing out in your pot of soup. The body does not stay in one mode. It moves, it cycles, it breathes. Health is not about pushing one side higher than the other. It is about keeping the rhythm. So what do you actually do with all of this? You do not need more yang. You do not need more yin. You need to notice which way your internal seesaw is leaning, and then you do the hardest thing anyone can do. You let it swing back. Let me give you two examples, one for each direction. If your yang is too high, you feel wired, scattered, you cannot sleep, or you sleep but wake up tired. Your mind is always going. You reach for coffee without thinking. You finish one task and immediately start the next. You have forgotten what it feels like to be still. The answer is not more stimulation to burn it off. The answer is something that invites yin back. A walk without a podcast, without music, just walking. Food that is warm and cooked. Soup, rice, not a cold salad, not a smoothie. Going to bed before you are already exhausted, not when you collapse, when you are still a little awake. And here is one more that sounds almost too simple, but it works. Before you eat, take 3 breaths. That is it. 3 breaths. You are not meditating. You are not doing a practice. You are just giving your body one beat of yin before you ask it to digest. It changes the entire chemistry of a meal. And if you can only do one thing, do this. Turn off your phone 30 minutes before bed, not airplane mode, off. The screen is yang. The notifications are yang. The light is yang. You are asking your body to switch from yang to yin while holding a yang machine in your hand. It cannot do both. Put the machine down and your body will do the rest. These things sound small. They are small. That is the point. You are not trying to force anything. You are creating a little space for yin to return. If your yin is too heavy, you feel slow, heavy, unmotivated. Everything feels like effort. You wake up tired and stay tired. Your body feels like it is moving through water. The answer is not more coffee. The answer is something that invites yang to rise gently. A morning stretch, not a workout. Just reaching your arms up, letting your spine move, sunlight on your face. 5 minutes, not a sun lamp, not a supplement, just stand outside. A brisk 10-minute walk where you actually swing your arms. Not power walking, not a fitness tracker, just moving. And one more for this direction too. Hot water with a slice of lemon. First thing in the morning. It sounds like nothing, but the warmth and the slight sharpness together, that is a tiny invitation to yang, a nudge, not a shove. And one more, because this one is so easy, it feels like cheating. Music, not background music while you work. Music you actually listen to. Something with a beat you can feel. 5 minutes of a song that makes you want to move. That is yang, pure and simple. And your body already knows how to respond to it. Notice something. Neither of these lists costs money. They cost attention. And that is the hardest part. The hard part is not knowing what to do. The hard part is noticing you need to do it before your body makes you notice, because your body will make you notice. A cold that comes from nowhere, a burnout, a back spasm that makes no sense. That is just your seesaw hitting the nail you put through it. There is a reason we want yin and yang to be good and evil. It makes the world simple. Good guys and bad guys, light and dark. You can sell supplements to a binary. You can build a personal brand on a binary. You can write a self-help book in a weekend if your framework is just do more of this, less of that. But here is the thing. The world is not resisting the binary because it is too simple. The world is resisting the binary because the binary does not work. Your body does not care about your framework. Your body will not let you categorize yourself as a yang person and be done with it. It will shift. It will surprise you. It will remind you again and again that you are not a type. You are a process. You cannot build real understanding on it. Classical Chinese medicine does not ask whether you are a yin person or a yang person. The question does not even make sense in the framework. You are a shifting person. Your yin and yang change with the seasons, the time of day, what you ate this morning, how you slept last night, who you talked to, whether you have been holding your breath for the last 3 hours without noticing. The task is not to pick a side. The task is to learn how the seesaw works and to stop driving nails through it. I want to leave you with one last thought. When I first started learning Chinese medicine, I expected it to be complicated. I expected charts and formulas and things I would have to memorize. And there are those things. But the deeper I went, the more I realized that the most important lessons are the simplest. They are not secrets. They are not hidden. They are not something you need a degree to understand. They are things your body already knows. Things it has been trying to tell you since the day you were born. You just have to learn the language. Team, thanks for listening. This was East and Inner. If this connected with you, join us on Apple Podcasts. Just search East and Inner. The full written article is at tcmway.net. This podcast is for educational purposes only, not medical advice. Please consult your doctor before making any health changes. Full articles and references at tcmway.net. Talk to you next time.